Well, there's a big game in Morgantown this weekend, in case you haven't heard. Number 11, Iowa State, coming to Morgantown. Should be a good game. Let's get ready and talk about some Iowa State, West Virginia.
Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Let's go! Hey! Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun? I guess I'll try this, try that, might miss, gotta find what I'm good at. I guess I look here, look there, over where am I scared, where am I at? I gotta make it in this life, whatever makes me happy, know I'm doing things right. Sipping in the summer on a goose and Sprite, or find a nightclub for the end of the night, And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be?
Welcome in, everyone, to the Voice of College Football, West Virginia style. I'm Joey Foster. My co-host, Shane, not on that side, he's on that side, because I'm kind of backwards. But we got some great guests with us tonight, guys. I mean, I watched these guys' video the other day, and I said, wow, these guys are really good. I've got to get them on the show. They are from Play the Fight Song over on YouTube. Subscribe up to them. Be sure and do that for us. They're called Play the Fight Song. A couple of great Iowa State guys. We've got Jake down at the bottom left and Road Dog. See him down there in the bottom right. JT, appreciate you guys being here with us tonight, man. We're going to talk some West Virginia and Iowa State for this weekend. But anyway, hey, how you guys doing? Tell everybody about your platforms, your Twitter, everything like that, too, while we're at it. JT, why don't you go first, sir? Tell everybody where to find you at.
Yeah, first of all, just appreciate you guys having us on. Like, this is pretty cool. It's the first time we've done like a crossover episode or something like this before. So just appreciate everything that you guys have done for us, like having us on. So Jake, you want to plug the Twitter?
Yeah, absolutely. Find us at Play the Fight Pod. Again, appreciate you guys, Joey and Shane, having us on. We cover everything, all things college football. We have a live Wednesday episode that covers the entire landscape. Obviously, you guys found Justin and I's Cyclone fan perspective. We do Iowa State fan perspectives every week, a couple of episodes during the off season covering the week that is, being the West Virginia week. We always recap because we're usually in Jack Trice Stadium or at home games most of the time. So we just, a couple of kids who Justin graduated from Iowa State, being so close to Ames, just a couple of fans from Iowa State football. And we just like to give our voices and our opinions. And we love, it's kind of our guilty pleasures, just talking Iowa State football anytime we can. So,
yeah. Well, we love having you guys on. We appreciate you guys coming on with us in short notice too. I just contacted these guys yesterday morning, so and
Joey
stuff.
told me about it, and I'm like, yeah, I saw those kids. One kid has the flow and one kid has the beard, and I think they're related. But I think everybody in Iowa's probably related. Same with West Virginia, right?
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I can say the same about that.
So Shane, before the season, you and I talked about this quite a bit. Iowa State's a damn good team. They got like 7th-year seniors from tackle to tackle. I mean, they're loaded down. They're really a good team. They deserve to be number 11. Don't you agree, Shane? Right now,
with that Iowa win, I would have, and because didn't you guys win 2 of the last 3?
they won every game.
We've
beat
Iowa. Won the last 2 road games.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's no surprise. I mean, for crying out loud, Tulane was ranked after doing a lot less last year. And, Iowa State, just because, I mean, guys, I don't understand are you guys the ugly baby of the conference or what's going on? But everybody passes you over, but you always play teams tough. And I compared you to an Arkansas where you've always been a burr in the saddle of some team. Like there's some game where you punch above your weight. But this is the year, well, last year too, this is the year where I thought, hey, Iowa State's going to be those close games they lost in the past, they're going to win. Not only are winning, you put up 52 points. You have an offense, and you got 2 stud receivers that I can't pronounce the one kid's name, but I'm not even going to try. But you guys have, and then you got what's Samba that he's like 5'5".
Yeah,
how tall is that guy?
Abu Sama's he's 5'10", but there's another kid that just came in from Eastern Michigan, Jalen Jackson, who's I expect to be the number 1 back on Saturday, and he's a Eastern Michigan transfer. He's 5'5". He is 5'5". The guy I'm thinking is
5'5", because you have two running backs that are good, and they remind me of running back that Mountaineers had 10, 15 years ago. They had Noel Devine, they had Steve Slayton, those type of guys that are elusive, but yet when they do make contact, the pad level's so low, these D-backs just don't realize what they're hitting. But I'm done talking. I'll let you professionals get after it. I'm just a fan here. I'm just fanning out.
Hey, Shane, that's us. We're just the fans, so we're all in it together.
That's what this show really is all about. It's just like a fan zone. Shane and I are just fans. We're not. This is a night we don't have to be like professional analysts and try to like get everything perfect. We get names wrong all the time. Hell, I can't remember our quarterback at the time. I'm sitting there because I mean I'm serious. It's just sitting there. I'm going, okay, Garrett Green. Yeah,
the color.
The color. So anyway, but so what? Let me ask you guys a question. As Iowa State fans, have y'all watched the West Virginia game this year? Have you, or what are your thoughts on West Virginia?
I haven't.
Go ahead, Justin.
Okay,
you got it.
I caught like the first 2 games. I caught the Pitt and the Penn State game. So the 2 games you guys haven't won. I haven't been able to catch much of the Kansas State or Oklahoma State games. But that's just because I've been at the Iowa State games.
Right.
So it's kind of hard to catch some of the other ones. But I've definitely gone back and watched those Kansas and Okie State games. And I got to be honest, your guys' run game really scares me as an Iowa State fan.
I think the offensive line too is impressive. If you're going to, I'm on this NFL show, Steelers Dynasty podcast, and I told my co-host, you thought you got a stud last year in Zach Frazier. Steelers need to be looking at this other kid they have, and I don't want to jinx them because every time I talk about someone, they get hurt. But, that offensive line, but you guys have a hell of a secondary, and that seems to be the kryptonite for the Mountaineers because that's exactly what happened against Pitt. What are your thoughts on the secondary, the matchup? A good running offense versus a secondary that I don't know if you guys are good at stopping the run, but you could definitely shut down the passing game and then load the box.
Well, so Iowa State's first game of the year, their best linebacker goes out in the first half on a punt return. And so the biggest question was stopping the run game and the linebackers and if they were going to be good enough. And to this point, now granted, we haven't seen a rush offense as good as West Virginia yet. Iowa has a really good back, but Iowa State's ability from the secondary, just veteran-led guys who have, knock on wood, been able to stay healthy so far, has helped out that young linebacker group, I think, so much. You got guys like 17, Bo Freiler, Malik Verdone, number 7 for Iowa State. Those are two safeties that, quite frankly, hit really hard, and they can really help up in the box for a young group who's Cale Brazina, number 9 middle linebacker, is a true freshman, expected to start on Saturday, who it was injury questions, but I believe he's going to play. So you have like true freshmen from the state of Iowa all across the linebackers, but it's been that senior-led, that secondary that's really helped stop the run so far. Now, can they get it done on Saturdays is a bigger question.
Yeah. I'm caught bits and pieces of Iowa State this year. Been looking really impressive to me. I mean, they really have. But it's not surprising to me how impressive Iowa State's look, because Iowa State, I think, like I've got Iowa State ranked number 1 right now in the Big 12. I think most people do. Some people have BYU, but I've got Iowa State there. I think BYU's got a tough schedule ahead of them, and they're gonna be hurting. So, West Virginia has had a tough schedule, though. You think about it. We opened up Penn State, like you said, you watched the game. We opened up against Penn State. It wasn't a pretty look. We just didn't look like we were, it looked like we were in our own heads during that game. The players were just in their own heads, and they couldn't get out of their own damn way, right? That's how it came up.
Did you ever have something happen in a game, and it just totally sucks the oxygen out of a stadium? I left like 2 minutes before the second quarter was over. Okay, because my kid had a varsity game that night, which they can't find refs, so they moved Friday, Saturday night. So anyway, So we left, and I just felt like they were going to lose, because what had happened is the Mountaineers recovered a fumble on the 30-yard line, red zone. Then the ball goes over the quarterback's head on the next 2 possessions, and right there you could just tell these kids just had the jitters, and it wasn't going to be a good night. And things have to go a certain way when you're playing certain teams. You can't make a lot of missed assignments or mistakes, and that happens. And but for that Pitt game you watched, West Virginia was in control most of the game, even though they had that block, that scoop and score. I'm like, yeah, they're still going to win. And then all of a sudden, and that happened last year 2 times against Oklahoma State and Houston. So that same theme, I know you all can relate to in some of the games where you're like, I went to go pee, and I came back. What the hell? I mean, your mind just explodes. But
I was gonna say we as Iowa State fans, we can totally relate to that Pitt game for you guys, because I mean, I was Justin, if I remember, like we lost to Iowa in 2019 where the punt we were trying to receive a punt on the last possession to go and win the game. We have 2 guys run into each other. We fumble the punt. I promise you guys, I have not seen a more change and turn of events, like you mentioned, Shane, when they got the block punt, but we forget you have that horrible holding call that wasn't a holding call, and they get that long touchdown pass. And I thought, there's no way West Virginia comes back in that game. They fight back. They catch that touchdown pass to go up, what was it, 11, I thought at that point, if I can remember right. So we definitely can relate. And nothing like losing those type of games to your arch rival, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's absolutely the worst. The Pitt.
But I feel like West Virginia has been like one of the most underrated teams in the conference.
Yeah, I think they are this year for sure. I think they are. I believe we're a better team than people think. You got to realize we lost to Penn State. Everybody expected that, right? I mean, come on. Penn State's an elite team right now. Probably the best team that Penn State's had in years. It's right there right now in Happy Valley. Then we did lose to Pitt, but you have to look at that as what it is. That's a rivalry game. That is one of the biggest rivalries in the nation, Pitt and West Virginia. And so when you're talking about that, Pitt has been. It's in 2007, West Virginia was going to play for national championship. All they had to do was beat Pitt, but they were 24.5-point favorites. Pitt had won 3 games all year, and we were 24.5-point favorites. And they beat us 13-9 in Morgantown. So it's crazy that, but them rivalry games are like that. You're right. You guys know Iowa State. It doesn't matter how bad Iowa is when you play them or how good you are, or vice versa. You know, it's going to be a game. It's going to be a good game, and anybody can win. So you can't really. You got to realize too that Pitt's still undefeated. You know, Pitt hasn't lost yet, and it doesn't look like they're going to lose this week. So I'm looking at it and going, hey, West Virginia's a little bit better than people are thinking. We're not getting a lot of credit. We actually should probably be a top 25 team. This is going to be a really good game in Morgantown this Saturday night. I am really looking forward to it because I think you've got two really good, probably top 4 in the Big 12 right now, West Virginia and Iowa State. I would say at the end of the year, we'll probably be top 4 teams in the Big 12. I really do. So I think this weekend's going to be a really interesting game. Now, we was talking about secondary, y'all secondary. Our secondary has been trashed. I mean, literally been shredded. You know, and I've been telling everybody that's going to be the key in this game. I think our offensive line is better than your defensive line, and we're going to push you around. We pushed everybody around, including Penn State. So we're going to push you around a little bit. And we're going to get some good runs, and we're going to control the ball, and we're going to score. We're going to be able to go down and score. Are we going to be able to keep up with you though? Because you guys have a really good quarterback. You've got a wide receiver that's caught touchdown passes in what six consecutive or 7 consecutive games now.
6 out of 9.
7 straight games.
Wow.
7 straight games. Yeah. So I mean, we got to watch out because you guys could shred our secondary. So, but I know you guys have talked about that a little bit too, though.
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be something that Iowa State is. We've got a new offensive coordinator this year who has not been afraid to call it way more aggressively than kind of how our previous coaching staff has. So I do expect them to throw the ball quite a bit. But you guys being the home game and like this being a night game, Iowa State this year has been really prone to those slow starts. And if you guys can like get that run game going, even if our like if our passing attack can have a good day, like it's still going to be tough to come back from if we start slow and like you guys get that running game going.
Yeah. You know, I think of this game as, you know, because I'm older, you know, I have 2 boys, probably not quite your age, but they're in high school. You go back to like Virginia Tech and these Thursday night games they used to have. And then it's the same atmosphere, similar fan base. Both fan bases don't really have a pro team, right? You know, so this is it. This is their weekend. They don't have a Sunday game to look forward to. You know what I mean? This is it. So with Virginia Tech, I kind of think this is West Virginia's new closest rivalry. You know, similar. You know, what's your student population? 25,000, right? 20,000 range.
Yeah, like 25 up to close to 30. It's growing.
It's exactly what West Virginia is. So, because I was looking at the numbers, you know, I've never been to Ames, Iowa. You know, been to a lot of colleges throughout the nation. Never made it out there, but you know, so I feel it, and I like the fact that this night game is going to have that palpable, you know, not quite Enter Sandman, not like you're playing in Blacksburg, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great atmosphere, and you guys are going to really enjoy. And for the fans that are watching, these jabronis are either in transit or already in Morgantown.
I'm here, so we're waiting after this. Maybe somebody wants to go out and have a beer. We're heading that way. So any suggestions in the comments?
Let me give you an example of what to expect in Morgantown. This is what to expect in Morgantown night game Saturday night. Bring up YouTube tonight and watch West Virginia LSU 2011.
Yeah,
you know, that was an amazing LSU team. And they came into Morgantown, and they jumped out to an early lead. So don't get discouraged when LSU jumps out to an early lead. Just keep watching. You know, so it really was a really good game. If it wasn't for Tyrann Matthews, we would have won that game. So Matthews can kiss my, you know, whatever. But you know, I love this game. I love this game too. Now I've been to Ames, Iowa, not for a football game, but I've been to Ames, Iowa. People are always, I mean, they're so nice, friendly. They're It's just good people. A lot like it is in West Virginia. And that's like Shane was saying, there's a lot of similarities between Iowa State and West Virginia. Maybe not in success of football programs. West Virginia's probably had a lot more success than Iowa State has. But when you look at fan bases, it's pretty similar. And when you get to Morgantown this weekend, you're going to see a lot of new stuff, too, that our fans haven't even seen. Am I right, Shane? They got the new light shows and
Fireworks.
new fireworks things. So, I mean, this place is going to be pretty damn crazy this weekend because there's a lot of new stuff that they're breaking out for this Iowa State game that nobody's seen yet. So you guys may be in for a treat.
It's pretty similar. Or go ahead, Shane.
Well, yeah, this is important shit here. I'm going to educate you for it. Pepperoni rolls. Have you had one yet?
No, sir.
I don't think so.
Gotta get a pepperoni roll.
Is that a tailgate special in Morgantown?
That'll be a game day thing, and you can't get some, can't get one from some college kid that got it from the Kroger or the Publix. You got to get one that's like really, really made. But yeah, pepperoni rolls are legit. But I'll talk to you offline after the show and tell you to hit the highest points.
I tell you what, Shane, you're going to the game and meeting up with them, aren't you?
I will. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a tour for a little bit and then let you guys kind of go off on your own. Kind of like when you release wildlife. You're
so I'm going to charge Shane. I'm going to charge Shane right now. Shane gets to buy you both a pepperoni roll out of his own pocket. Out of his own pocket to show some West Virginia hospitality. There you go. Yep. How's that, Shane? Yep. No, we've got a new sponsor coming on board. Matter of fact, I was working with them again today. Mountaintop Pepperoni Roll Company. They make the original pepperoni rolls. So if you can find a Mountaintop Pepperoni Roll up there, that would be the good one to buy. But as long as, and Shane will know what to buy, as long as it's not some Kroger brand pepperoni roll that's a knockoff. So how that started is in the coal mines. Coal miners needed something to eat while he's down there. They go down there 12, 15 hours a day, sometimes longer, underground. It's not like, and sometimes you're a mile or 2 miles into a mountain. It's not like you could jump on and just come out and run to the local McDonald's and get you something to eat. You're 2 miles down the hole. So they needed something that would stay good all day long while they're down there in the mines. And so the wives started making like their dough and rolling it up with pepperoni and cheese and baking them in the oven and making pepperoni rolls. And so it became a staple food here in West Virginia, and it always has been. And so, that's how that pepperoni rolls got started. So you guys will enjoy that.
Joe, I gotta ask you guys then. So you bring up the coal miners, and let's talk about it right now. Like what is the significance of these new uniforms? How excited are you guys as a fan base to be breaking these out? And the Nike, is it maybe just kind of ahead of the times? Maybe you don't want to see a new uniform. Is it exciting?
Yeah, I think, my dad was a coal miner and was a coal miner for 28 years. But, so I've lived in a coal mining town where and it's Western Pennsylvania. Most of these people have worked in, bituminous coal. So, it's and grandparents, et cetera, et cetera. So the coal industry is in the fabric of everybody from Western Pennsylvania to Kentucky to Tennessee, pretty much the whole way down there. It's part of it. Even they have coal mines in Alabama, but there's different type of coal. But no, but you know what? I think, and I'm going to be a weirdo, I'm just queer for the gear. I just love the black unis. I just think they're shit hot.
You're talking to the black uniform kings. That's what we've adopted.
The black
wasn't that the first game we broke them out was against you guys?
In 2018.
Like 6 years ago, or
I was gonna say it was like 2018. I'm pretty sure you guys came into Ames
2019,
undefeated that game.
Yeah.
It was pretty similar because I just looked it up. It was 2018. You guys were 5-0, came into Ames. I'm not sure what your ranking was. It was pretty high, and Iowa State was 3-2. And Iowa State broke out the black uniforms night game and pulled off the upset. Yep. So I don't know. Maybe we're going to be revisiting something there. It seems a little too similar.
Now, West Virginia usually craps the bed against you guys and TCU. No matter what your record is, they'll be ranked, and you think, it's like asking the prettiest girl in school to homecoming, and she finds Jesus, and there's no way in heck you're going to even get a kiss. Like you think it's going to happen, but it doesn't happen. Well,
I believe the last time Iowa State went to Morgantown was the 2021 season after Iowa State had won the Fiesta Bowl Brock Purdy's senior year, Brees Hall, double-digit favorites. And you want to talk about crap in the bed. That team, and that was just a, kind of a leery afternoon game. I even remember, I think it's like a 1 o'clock ESPN Plus game. So not a ton of eyes on it. And West Virginia takes us to the woodshed.
I was like, that 2021 season was just a weird season. So it was just one of those anomalies, Couldn't put.
I was trying to cue something up. So we had we were talking about the black uniforms. We had Brian Joswiak, former Mountaineer, first round draft pick, Kansas City Chiefs back in the 80s. Well, we had him on, and big Brian Joswiak. I mean, he's a big guy. Yeah. But anyway, we asked him what he thought about the new black uniforms and stuff. And he went on a small little rant about, no. I went golden blue, golden blue, man. That's traditional colors. And he was right. Yeah, he's right.
He said, that's damn Dana Holgorsen wearing all that black shit.
Yeah. He hated Dana Holgorsen and stuff, and I didn't like Dana either. I mean, I couldn't stand Dana, to be honest with you. He's the worst football coach. Now, he's a great offensive coordinator. Dana Holgorsen's the best offensive coordinator in the country. Just terrible head coach.
Joe, I got to ask you, because I went back and watched an episode from you guys a couple of weeks ago, and you said Dana Holgorsen ran the West Virginia football program into the ground. I need you to elaborate on that, because to me, I'm not saying Dana is better than, or Neil Brown is worse than Dana, but just interesting as an outsider to hear that.
No,
Neil Brown's record. Neil Brown's record's not as good as Dana's is. Obviously, it's not. But here's what Neil Brown's had to deal with. Honestly, 2019, he takes the job. We were absolutely depleted because Dana Holgorsen had used the transfer portal so much to bring in players, if you remember. I mean, he was just bringing in players like crazy. It was like a Colorado thing, just constantly bringing in players out of the transfer portal and stuff. And he kind of built teams from that. And so when we got to 2018, we're supposed to be a really good team, and we're going to talk about that 2018 game here in a minute between West Virginia and Iowa State. But 2019, when Neil Brown took over, he had absolutely nothing. There was nothing in waiting. You know what I'm saying? We had a little bit of talent, but not a lot. We didn't have a lot of players. So Neil Brown comes in and has to start recruiting immediately, because even the recruits that Dana Holgorsen had were his recruits. Mm-hmm. And Neil Brown had to take them, obviously, because he didn't have time to recruit everybody. So he took Neil Brown players in 2019. 2020, the team came around. All of a sudden, it's pretty much the same thing. And then he gets hit with COVID. And he can't go out and recruit. Now, he's come from a group of 5 in Troy, and now he's at a Power 5 program in West Virginia, and he can't go visit these guys. None of these guys can get to know him. He don't know none of them, and he's got to go and recruit, right? So that wasn't going to happen in 2020. So then 2021 was bad because we couldn't do anything to recruit in 2019. Now we've had 2 years without recruiting because of 2020. Now we're in 2021. All right, he finally gets to put a class together and put his own team in there, right? But obviously he didn't get everybody he wanted because he didn't get to know everybody in 2021 and 2019 and 2020 because of COVID. So now 2021, decent class. Don't get me wrong. So then we go to 2022 and he has a great class. He starts learning how to recruit West Virginia. 2023 it showed. 2023 it showed with a 9-win season. This year it's really showing we're a really good team. Neil Brown's a good coach. I have been talking trash about Neil Brown here lately, saying maybe it's time to move on. Now, I'm not talking trash about him because I like Neil Brown, but maybe it was time to move on. After that Pitt loss, I was not happy the way we lost that game. But Dana Holgorsen, I'm going to elaborate on Dana Holgorsen for you. He was a great offensive coordinator. We had the worst defense I've ever seen at West Virginia the whole time, entire time he was there. West Virginia prides itself on good defense. We really do.
Right.
If you go back and watch us from 1980.
Really good defense. 96 was number 1 in the nation. So
and you go back from 1980 to 2011. Our defense was top ranked. We were top probably 15 every single year. It seemed like our defense was. We were really good in defense. Our offense struggled at times, but then Rich Rod got it going, and our offense didn't struggle more. All of a sudden, we had good offense, good defense, and they couldn't nobody beat us. except for Pitt. Kiss my ass, Pitt. Talking shit. I mean, or talking shit. Talking shit. If it's probably in here, he would be telling me off. But anyway, so then Dana Holgerson comes in, takes over the program, takes us straight to the Orange Bowl, and we destroy Clemson, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you think to yourself, wow, man, this is going to be great. Then every year his recruiting numbers are in the 60s.
That was
67th in the country. West Virginia, 67th in the country recruiting. West Virginia, 65th in the country recruiting. West Virginia, 71st in the country recruiting. I'm sitting there going, hey, does anybody notice that this team is going downhill bad
he
here?
Didn't have the personality to recruit. The alumni didn't interact, and he did not want to have past players come back, like Pat Mack, Geno Smith. He didn't want these guys in the locker room. Neil Brown has changed the culture where, those guys are in the locker room interacting with the players. So it's just totally different vibe. You never really vibe with a lot of the fans.
Sure.
He's, you have to have a little bit of charisma. But anyway.
Don't be dissing on Dana. Don't be dissing on Dana.
We're here to talk Iowa State, West Virginia. We're not here to crap on Dana. I'm sorry for bringing it there.
You know what? I need to just do a whole 3-hour show about Dana Holgerson.
Just get it out of the way.
I mean, yeah. So, but anyway, let's go back to 2018. Here we are, 2018. We opened up the season against Tennessee and absolutely destroy them. We're supposed to have a team that should play or be in contention to play for a national championship. We're picked to finish second or third in the Big 12, right behind Oklahoma. And if we can beat Oklahoma, that's all we needed to do, right? And here we go, and I think we were either 5-0 or 6-0, and going into Ames, Iowa. And I was like, oh, my God, I don't want to go to Ames, Iowa and play this game. I didn't. Y'all were not that good of a team, but Ames, Iowa is just like, no, but you can't win in Ames, Iowa. You just can't win there. And so I'm like, this is really scaring me. But I felt confident that we had a team that would go in there and win this game. I just afraid it's going to be close. Jake, I'm going to let you tell everybody what the final score was of that game, and I'm not going to talk about it one bit. If you remember the final score, but I'm sure you remember the game.
Oh, man. Oh, of course. Yeah. Remember the game is funny. I go back on some of my pictures on my phone of rushing the field and all that fun stuff. If I had to remember the score, was it 31-13? Am I right in saying that? Where was it? How close am I?
30-14.
30-4. Ah, man, I didn't look that up either.
That's good memory.
Yeah.
It's a memorable game for us.
Yeah.
Yes, because, West Virginia was a good team that year. Mm-hmm. And we were undefeated, and they had destroyed everybody. There was nobody that even had to come close to beating us.
Was that
and
Will
here we
Greer?
go in. Yeah, that was Will Greer.
Yeah, he was a
Will Greer and David Seals and Jennings and stuff. We had a team. We had an offense. We didn't have a defense. and all it took was our offense going into Ames, Iowa, and going up against a defense that was pretty stout. Iowa State had a pretty stout defense that year. So all it took was somebody that could shut Will Greer and Jennings and them down for just a few plays and get a few 3-and-outs. And our defense stunk so bad that, you could score on us and stuff. So, it was such a daggone miserable day. That was the worst day of my Mountaineer life.
I believe, I could be wrong in saying this, I believe that was Brock Purdy's first start because he went to the Oklahoma State game, got in the second half before that one, and then that was the first game he started, and then he went, what did he start? 49 straight games, Justin, or something?
Yeah, that season and the next three, so up until that point.
Things really worked out for that kid.
I was going to say, so don't feel so bad. Looking back on it. Yeah, looking back on it, it's not as bad. Yep.
One thing I do want to
very good, but they ended up making Alamo Bowl that year. So.
Yep.
One thing I do want to do. Let's get back to this year's game. Now, I give some keys to the game the other night, and I don't know if you guys got to watch that or not, but I'll give you my keys to this game for West Virginia. Number one, we've got to do better on special teams because our special teams are horrible. and you guys have an amazing special teams. I mean, really, really good special teams.
Not
So
something
we've got
we're known for.
right. I mean, it reminds me of a Frank Beamer coach team. You know, the old Virginia Tech teams that were so good at special teams. That's what this Matt Campbell special teams, or Iowa State special teams, looks like to me. We have to do that. We have to get a turnover, and basically our secondary needs to play better. That's keys to the game for West Virginia. Let's start with you, JT. What do you think the keys to the game are for Iowa State coming in this week?
I think the biggest thing that we've already touched on a little bit, is slowing down the run, and specifically slowing down Garrett Green and his running ability. Because like we've said, our secondary is definitely our strong suit of our defense. And John Heacock, our defensive coordinator, has made it his specialty to have that bend but don't break style, where we give up yards, we give up plays, but once it gets into the red zone, they really stiffen up. But if Garrett Green's able to get loose and make plays outside of the pocket, that's not something a defensive coordinator can really plan for. And you can have a really good secondary, but if you make them cover for 5-6 seconds play, someone's going to get open. And you could see that at the beginning of the Baylor game last weekend. When they got up 14-3, those 2 touchdowns they had, dudes were wide open. There was no one even close. And for how good our secondary is, you just can't, if the quarterback's able to get outside of the pocket and make his own plays, it's going to really limit our defense.
Yep. I was going to say, I'll flip it to the offensive side for Iowa State. In a 5-0 start, it's hard to criticize many things on this team, but I think the one thing Justin and I, and the entire fan base for that matter, has really harped on is the slow starts for this offense. You kind of look at the box score if you haven't watched every Iowa State game, and you see that we're putting up yards, putting up points. But you go back to the Baylor game last week, Iowa State was down 14-3 in the first quarter. The Iowa game, there was no attempt of playing offense. They were down, 10-0 in the first half. And the North Dakota game against an FCS school, you have a big first possession, and then after that, you were pretty slow. The offense has had its moments. It's adjusted well, but it's never put a full 4 quarters of good football together. And me and Justin said this on our show Wednesday night. If Iowa State starts out 14-3 down, like they did last Saturday, they will not lose, or they will not win the football game. And I don't even know if it'll be close because of how consistently West Virginia can run the football.
We've started slow, and our defense is good enough where it can recover. But if we get down in a hole, like we talked about in a night game on the road, I think this West Virginia offense is a lot better than the Iowa offense that we've played. Even though that was a hostile environment, they were predictable enough where you gave Iowa State a halftime, they were able to figure things out. If we're trying to do that on the road in this environment, I don't think this West Virginia team is going to be one that Iowa State can just kind of figure out in the aspect that'll give them a chance to come back if they are down early.
Yeah. Shane, how about you, man? What do you think?
I did my pick Tuesday, and I'll tell you what, 2 of you are going to like what I said.
I know you're talking to us.
I think West Virginia's going to start out hot, and then they're going to have a cold second half. I think they're going to lose.
I think one of the big keys to this game really is time of possession. Both teams have done really good with time of possession this year. You guys have done really good. We have last week against Oklahoma State, we had the ball for 43 minutes out of a 60-minute game. So you're controlling that ball, slow, sustained drives down the field, 60, 70, 80 yards, whatever it might be. Taking your time, getting down there, using all 3 downs to get your first down. That's Neil Brown football. I get aggravated because we get to 2nd and 6 or 2nd and 2 or something, and instead of just running the ball and getting the first down, he's trying to throw the ball down the field because he's just trying to lose a little bit more clock and stuff, and get a running game on third down and get a first down, start over. And if we don't get it on 3rd down, we're going to go for it on 4th down and get it then. We got a lot of faith in our running game. So I think that's a good key to this game for both teams. Who can control the clock? Is it going to be 30 minutes to 30 minutes? That's about how it looks like. It looks like it can shape up like that. But at the same time, if West Virginia, I think, can hold the ball for 35 to 40 minutes, somewhere in that area, 37 minutes, something like that, I think we could beat Iowa State. If that switches and flips around, we could get our ass kicked. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, if we can at least slow you guys down and not let the running game get out of hand, that'll definitely play into our advantage, because it's kind of been Iowa State under Matt Campbell's and John Heacock's defense, their MO to have strong second halves on defense. It kind of takes them a half to figure things out, and then they really stiffen up in that second half. So if that's the case, that could play like a lot in our favor. And I also think, like you were talking about with the special teams, an underrated stat about this Iowa State team, we talked about how good their special teams is this year, but that's like something really new for us. Like I know with like the Brock Purdy teams, it was something we bitched about all the time, is they just weren't playing complementary football. And Campbell would go into the press conference and talk about playing 3 facets of the game, complementary football, doing the little stuff. And we were never doing it. And this is honestly like the first Iowa State team that has. So that is the one thing that gives me a lot of confidence in this Iowa State team, if they're going to go in and pull something like this off on the road.
That's my concern, and that's what I've seen from the snippets of. You look at the score at the half. Iowa State makes changes. West Virginia. I don't want to sound like Trump, but not so much.
Yeah.
Not so much. You know who doesn't do that? West Virginia.
Yeah. Now, like you were talking about too, a key is going to be slowing down Garrett Green. Garrett Green's amazing now, but this year he's been hanging out in the pocket a little bit more. He's examining the field down there a little bit more, and the offensive line has given him plenty of time. He's not been hurried and sacked a lot or rushed or anything like that. You know, we've got such a great offensive line. So, like you said, like against Baylor, if the quarterback got to set back here for 4 or 5 seconds, they had players wide open. Mm-hmm. Can West Virginia do that? We have some good receivers. We have some really good receivers. But they've been having some trouble this year getting separation, it seems like to me. They've been having a little bit of trouble with that. Can they get separation from your secondary? I've seen some teams do that this year. Like you said, Baylor done that a couple of times. I don't know, but it's going to be interesting. Now, if last week though we seen a different Garrett Green who didn't sit back here in the pocket that long. When the waters parted, when that O line parted them waters,
ran the ball really well.
He took off. You know, he took off, and then Nico comes in the game, our backup, and he does the same thing.
Yep. I said on our episode last week, I watched most of the West Virginia Okie State game. I'd never seen a quarterback run over a safety like I saw your guys' backup did last week. It was
not
incredible.
Just a safety, one of the best safeties in the country.
Yep. Yes.
Now, if you want to go to YouTube, I think it was like 4 years ago. Nico was a high school phenom, and I watched him play. It was televised on ESPN. He came back. They carried him off the field. He was like literally bleeding, couldn't stand up. And he willed them to victory. And they were down like 18 points with like 4 minutes left. It's the most mind-boggling comeback ever in sports. You have to Google it. It's amazing.
So is he going to get a year? What grade is he in? Is he going to get a year under his belt? Because obviously Garrett's been around so long. It's impressive that he's been with the program.
Yeah, Nico's
this long.
Next year. It's his club next year. It's his show.
Yeah. I think Nico actually has 2 years left, don't he? It seems to me like that he might have 2 years. Or maybe just one.
Yeah, I think
like he's got 2.
He'll have 2. Yeah, you're right, Joey.
Yeah, I think he has 2 years. Guys, I appreciate you coming in. We got Play the Fight song with us tonight. Look for them on YouTube. These guys are awesome. They're fantastic. They got a great show over there. Play the Fight song over on YouTube. So be sure and sub them up. Appreciate seeing everybody out here in the chat tonight. People popping in and out like crazy. I don't, look, if you're listening to us or watching us on another platform, be sure and sub us up. West Virginia football with the voice of college football. We appreciate everyone that watches the show. So I want to do some game predictions here of score predictions, but before we do that, while we're doing that, I also want you to give me a yardage prediction. In other words, I want to know how many yards you think you will hold West Virginia to rushing, or what you think West Virginia will be able to rush against you. And then, you guys have a good running back and a decent passing attack, pretty daggone good passing attack, as a matter of fact. So I'll tell you right now, I think another key to this game is we need to hold you guys around 400 yards or less of total offense. Okay, I think we'll do good. Now, we're not going to hold you to 300 or less. I don't know of anybody that's done that yet. So I don't think we will hold you that good. But I think we got to hold you to 400 or less. Don't mean we can't win if you get 450 or even 500. But I think 400 or less is like a key there. And I feel like we can do that as long as our secondary is held up. Because for some reason, you guys said you watched the Pitt game. Did you see how many TFLs we had, tackles for losses?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, our defensive line is stout, guys. They're really, really good. And they get in there. We had tackles for loss and sacks on Penn State, too. They had a hard time sometimes. So our defensive line is really good. So I think we can hold you guys to 400 yards. What do you think you could hold West Virginia to, and what do you think a key to the game to hold West Virginia to is to win it?
Well, I'll go, Justin. You can go team total here if you want, but I'll go player specific for you guys, and maybe the West Virginia fans might laugh at me a little bit because it doesn't even seem realistic. But if Iowa State could hold Donaldson and White both under 100 yards, individually, it's going to give them a really good shot to win. Now, what does that mean? Team total rushing yards? I'm not really sure. But I think it starts with both of those. Obviously, Garrett is going to get his rush yards. But I think if you could hold that two-headed monster in the backfield both to under 100 yards, it's going to give you a really good shot at a really tough home environment. I mean, Justin, what do you think? Total yards, I guess.
Well, if you go total, because what are they averaging per game rushing? Like, isn't it like over 200?
It is.
Yeah, for West Virginia. What's Green averaging like pass yards per game?
I don't know what that is.
It's not that good. It's not that good. He's not been real accurate this year because he's been throwing a lot of deep balls. You got to realize that's our offense. It's run, and then burn you, try to get you deep. So he's had a lot of overthrows, a lot of underthrows, and a lot of just drop passes altogether or broken up passes. So his completion percentage is only in the 50s, and so it's not that great. But what he does connect on goes for a good distance. So I will tell you that. So,
which I think a lot of that can be some of those broken down plays that we're talking about because he's so good at like extending plays and taking those deep shots. And when you got the run game that you guys have, you can kind of live like that. So I feel like if Iowa State can hold Green, because he's done it a couple times this year, but we can hold him under. I think if he gets near over 150 passing yards, that's probably not a good sign for us because I do think West Virginia is going to try to pound it on the run with us just like they did last week. So I don't think that's that unrealistic for us to keep them under 150 pass yards because if you guys are carrying the ball like you think you will, I think that'll play right into us being under the 400 yards because our offense has been so balanced this year. And I think that's kind of one of the biggest strong suits because it's pretty unpredictable. So it's hard to plan against. So I really think the best way West Virginia is going to have to stop our offense is just keep the ball out of their hands.
Yeah. Go ahead, Shane. What do you think?
Here's my thought. They do run a balanced offense. I think Garrett, is getting a little bit more accurate, but it's very difficult for a secondary when you're stopping the run to have a power back and a quick twitch guy trading off snaps because it really affects the time. Tackling is a timing and angle thing, and that's just a challenge. So, as the game progresses, if the coaching staff makes the proper adjustments, it'll be competitive in the second half. But I really think Green's going to have around 120, 150 yards. I think you guys are spot on. It's going to be a close game. When I did my prediction, I said it's going to be within a touchdown. So I'm thinking whoever has the ball last is going to win. So
well, Vegas agrees with you, Shane. The line at Iowa State, only favored by 2.5, 3 points at this point.
Yeah,
so Vegas
it opened at 3.5. I think it's down to like 2 now.
Yeah, and that kind of means on a neutral field, you guys be favored by like a touchdown or something, But I'm going to point something out because a lot of people don't realize this. This was a pretty interesting stat that I was looking at. Last week, Oklahoma State had 45 total plays. That was it. because we just shut them down. Like they were
Yep.
3 and out so many times. They had 45 total plays. You know how many first downs West Virginia had? They had 31 first downs. We almost had as many first downs as they had total plays.
It's good.
Well, I
I
think
mean-
we said it on our show, Joey. I think wasn't West Virginia like 9 of 15 on third down or something? I mean, just staying on the field the whole game. Just was really, which is awesome. Is exactly what they need.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that wasn't just an outlier. It was just like this, like everything, the comet and the planets and everything just lined up, and you know,
it's possible Oklahoma State's just falling apart.
Yeah,
that's possible.
That's more likely, not just possible. Really, I'm not saying that we're a bad team. I'm not saying we didn't wake up. I think we woke up. I think we're fine. But Oklahoma State, man, they're just going downhill really bad. And here's the thing about it. And I talked about this Tuesday night. I think it was on our show, either Sunday night or Tuesday night. You got two programs right now. Oklahoma State, who is doing this, they're going on decline. Probably the worst year they've had under the Mike Gundy era. That's over 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. And then you've got a team in Iowa State that we're getting ready to play this week, who's on the biggest incline in the Big 12 under Matt Campbell. You guys have done nothing but consistently improve every year. And here you are, number 11 in the country, and a very, very good team. So we're getting the worst of a decline, right, from a very good team in Oklahoma State, right? They're always a very good team, but they're on a decline right now. And then we're getting Iowa State, who's usually that team that everybody says, oh, we can beat them. Now they're on an incline and they're destroying people. And it's not surprise. It's no surprise to any of us because we knew that you guys were going to be good. So, but I think that, West Virginia, I think the players could think about last week and how they beat Oklahoma State and maybe overlook some of you guys a little bit. In all honesty, the players could be thinking, hey, look what we did to Oklahoma State, and we did that in Stillwater, So this is Iowa State coming into our house. We can push these guys around a little bit, and maybe not play as hard as they did last week. I don't know that that'll happen. You guys are number 11 in the country. You're undefeated. I doubt that's going to happen. But, hey, is it possible that it happens with one or two players? Very well. And Matt Campbell's type of coach that he'll notice that. He'll see that real quick, and he'll expose that real quick. So,
I don't have a warm and fuzzy about this game, but I want to ask you guys, if all things go well for your team, Iowa State wins in Morgantown. I don't even care if it's by a point. The pollsters are going to recognize
Shane. We don't want Iowa State fans don't want to talk. We don't want to get that far. We're nervous thinking about. We're nervous thinking about it.
I'm telling you, as an outsider looking in, the pollsters you're gonna be a number 8 in the nation. If you guys win this weekend, you're going to go 3, 4, 5 points up in the rankings to where you're going to be an automatic bid. I mean, you can make the Big 12 championship and lose and still get in.
You got thoughts. Go ahead.
I think that's entirely possible, but it's hard to jump to those conclusions, especially like you've talked to with Iowa State's history. And just think back a couple weeks ago. Think back to like what people were talking about with the Big 12. Just because like Iowa State is 6-0, that's only halfway through the season. If we go out and win this game, we've got UCF next week. That's still going to be like, even at home, it's going to be like a 6-point spread. Anybody in this league can win a game. Like things can get out of hand so fast.
That's why I love you guys.
And I think if a team starts to think that way,
we're very cautious.
It can go downhill. It can go downhill so fast.
Yeah, like other fans are like, "Oh, we won 3 games. We're going to go to college football playoffs. Your team sucks."
We've gone through that a little bit with like the Purdy era, where we finally did have success, made the Fiesta Bowl, won that, and the next year we thought like everything was going to be golden, and then we had that downhill slide. We had the bad season the next
with the
year.
Expectations,
and I think that kind of gives us a little more like quiet confidence because Campbell and this coaching staff has been through this, and like a lot of these players have been through some of those bad times. So I mean, hopefully if we do win and all that hype starts to come, the team is ready for it this time. but you just never know in this conference. I don't think anybody in the Big 12 should be ranked in the top 8. As much as I love it, but like it's fun. It's cool to have that by your name, but like we know we're not like the 7th best team in the country or something like that. Obviously, we're a 2-point favorite on the road against a team who's not ranked right now.
It's street cred. You know that
it is absolutely. That's what we've been talking about because
one in Morgantown bumped up years ago.
4 of our 5 easiest games are what we've played so far.
Baylor, behind us.
Houston, Arkansas State, North Dakota. We're like 4 of our 5 easiest games, and they've looked really good, and they've even covered against Vegas in a lot of those games. So they are still exceeding expectations, but like this is like the first big test for Iowa State. This is what like we're going to understand what the conference play is going to be like. If they can go win this game, I think they can win any game on their schedule. But if they lose this game, it's right back to who knows, like 8 teams could win this conference.
Yeah, that's true. So one thing that you said there, though, is that you've exceeded expectations and you've been covering and stuff the lines, and that means a lot. But the respect isn't there yet, right? It just feels like the respect isn't there from the national media and everything. You know, this game here is like under the radar on everybody's saying, you know, because I don't know what they expect. You know, I don't know if they expect you guys to just come to Morgantown and win real easy, or if they figured we're going to see Iowa State lose this week, so you know, let's not even talk about them. I don't know what they're thinking is. You know, do they feel like you can come in and blow us away? I don't have any idea. We've got just a few minutes left here, so I want to get final score predictions from you guys. JT, what do you think the final score is?
Yeah. Well, just like one quick thing, like you're saying, I don't know what the world is thinking. I would go out on a limb and think for College Game Day, we might get one guy who's going to pick Iowa State. I would imagine it's going to be a fairly I feel like McAfee's going to get fired up, and it's going to be a fairly West Virginia heavy panel. Come on.
Well, it's already a West Virginia heavy panel. They got Pat McAfee and Nick Saban on there. So,
that's very true. But for my score prediction, I'm going to go off of what I said on our pod on Monday. I'm not going to, as scared as I am, I'm still not going to pick against the Cyclones just because of how balanced I think they are. They haven't really showed too many holes outside of those slow starts yet. But I am going to give West Virginia that night game respect. I think Iowa State wins 28-27.
All right. Good pick. Jake, what about you?
I told Justin he cannot be picking a 1-point win. That's just too much for us to handle. I'll just stick with my prediction on Monday as well. I'll go 34 Iowa State, West Virginia 24, just because I think it's close the whole way. The home field is behind West Virginia. Kind of to Shane's point, I think we adjust as the third quarter, fourth quarter goes along, and hopefully that passing attack opens up on what I think they could succeed on Saturday.
Well, I hope days of me picking it spot on, because 2 weeks ago I picked it spot on. Tuesday I said 28-17. I'm going to change a little bit. 28-24 Iowa State.
You're taking Iowa State. All right, so here's my key to the game, or my prediction. The key to the game. West Virginia wins if they can get a turnover and not turn the ball over themselves. And if they can stop you guys on special teams, no block kicks, you know, and no run backs for touchdowns, no big run backs, period. West Virginia can win this game. And then I say the score will be West Virginia 27, Iowa State 24. If they fail at that, if we turn the ball over a couple of times and we can't get a turnover, we're done. And I think Iowa State wins 27-21 then. So I think that we have to get a turnover and play better special teams. And if we do not, we will lose this game. So everybody, we appreciate you coming in with us tonight. Be sure, whatever you do, sub these guys up over on YouTube. Play the fight song. Look for them. They have a great show, a really, really good show. I enjoy it. I will be watching every one of their shows, I promise you, and because they're just really good. So I look forward to watching them again. Everyone, and you guys stick around for a minute when I go off here for a second. So everyone, we do appreciate everyone coming in tonight. A lot of you popped in and out. I hope everybody hit that thumbs up. If you didn't, be sure and do it on your way out. If you're not subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button and give us a little thumbs up too, and letting us know that you enjoyed it. Everyone, we will see you guys Saturday for the pregame, at 6 o'clock. Shane, I don't know if Shane will be here or not because Shane's going to be going to the game.
I'll pop in from the field for about 5 or 10 minutes.
Good deal, good deal. And you guys are welcome to pop in there too. If you guys hook up with Shane there, come on in. All right, everyone. We will see you all Saturday for the pregame. Everyone have a great night.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.